Welcome to the Construction Tech Podcast, where we talk with industry leaders and discover the latest technology within their business. Whether you're a director of sales or a graduate looking to get into the industry, make sure you tune in and enjoy the episode. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and comment to add to your own views. The Construction Tech Podcast is brought to you by Laura Jane Recruitment. We hope you enjoy the episode.
So welcome to today's Construction Tech Podcast, where we will be speaking with Sablono. I would like to introduce you all to Darren I'Anson, who is the UK Sales Director for Sablono.
So hi Darren, welcome to today's podcast. So tell us a little bit about Sablono.
Hi Laura, thanks for having me on your podcast. I'm Darren I'Anson, Sales Director at Sablono. Why do we exist? I think that's the most important topic, and I think we exist to help construction become a production-orientated industry by providing digital management tools, hopefully to help sites deliver on time and on budget. European-based company with offices in the UK and Germany, and we had a serious amount of investment last year to enable us to scale the business over the next 3 years. And we've got quite aggressive growth plans in the UK and Dubai and Australia, pick some other areas outside of the UK. So I think if it's construction, I've been in the construction industry, as you know, Laura, for quite some time, and it changes so quick. And we've got an increasing number of companies adopting systems, and I've seen it, to digitize processes and workflows. But these initiatives are often aimed at replicating existing ways of working instead of fundamentally transforming the process and transforming the fragmented project supply chains as well. And to really boost productivity in our industry, I think construction needs to embrace true collaboration around the full sequence and exploit its production data to the fullest. And that's obviously where we can help. So our platform, back to your first question, is ultimately a construction execution platform. So that's for management and monitoring of construction projects with a clear focus on processes. Our unique cloud-based system integrates all aspects of time, quality, cost in one digital platform for seamless control, however complex that environment is. And then this digital backbone fosters true cross-company collaboration for accelerated project execution, as well as real-time insights and dashboards into production data. I think that's pretty much us, Laura.
Fantastic. So you said there's obviously been quite a lot of growth. Obviously, we've known each other for a very long time, and I'm well aware of obviously how much growth has been in the UK. But tell the people that are listening, how many people have you hired sort of since you started?
Yeah, so it's an interesting journey, because obviously I've predominantly worked in an Autodesk environment for the last 20 odd years, and so that's been fun. But I think having that boldness to move to a different environment that you're not used to, and starting from scratch, really. We entered the UK market pre-COVID, and we were doing some really good things from what I've been told, and some good logos were coming in. But then obviously COVID hit, and we had to scale back to Germany. Now this is time for another reboot. Obviously, I'm in the middle of the hiring process for salespeople. We've got people already in the UK and Europe. So it's like a rocket ship at the moment, full steam ahead.
Sure. So obviously moving forward, obviously you'd said you've obviously been in the industry itself for over 20 years. What made you come into the industry in the first instance, Darren?
Oh, wow. So early days, I was a chef. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I really wanted to be a chef, cooking food in the kitchen, etc., etc. But the intensity of the environment of being a chef, I think that prepared me really well for a sales career.
Yeah.
And moving into that high pressure kitchen environment is very similar to being an high performance sales rep, having to juggle lots of plates and lots of different deals and lots of customers, making sure you're finding out problem statements, etc., etc. And I think that sales piece, moving into an Autodesk reseller, straight from the off, really. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't know anything about product, etc. But I think moving people from way back then, there were drawing boards. So people were sketching things out on a drawing board, drawing buildings, etc. And moving them from a drawing board to a CAD system, as it was then, was quite a big step change for everybody. And that's That was most of my business within the first 10 years. And going back then, a CAD system was like you bought it and it was yours. So it was a PC, a monitor, piece of software, big printing machine called a plotter. And these things were like 40 to 50K for one deal. And then obviously as more and more people got into the industry and the industry were driving the change in the CAD software, obviously the cost of entry level to a CAD PC as it was then, or a CAD setup, come right down to sort of 5K quite quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was interesting, selling people. So moving on from that, everybody had CAD, if you like, and then this whole BIM thing just appeared from nowhere due to government mandates, really, in the UK. And so that's when we moved a lot of people from 2D CAD to 3D CAD, and Revit, and so on and so forth. And then following that, obviously people wanted to control their processes, documents, and along come things like a CDE. And now next step is that construction execution platform to control that whole job site and your supply chain.
Fantastic. So again, you've gone back to you know, people that you're obviously employing. Would you look at what kind of backgrounds do you look for in people? Obviously with your own background, coming from being a chef, going into sales, are there any key factors that you look for? I mean, within your initial team at the moment, that obviously may change in 6 months' time when you've grown a lot in the UK, but at the moment, what are the kind of people that you look for to join Sablono?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that's changed as well over the years for the different people, because early days, if we rewind, we didn't have internet.
Yeah.
And we didn't have mobile phones, if I'm honest. That's showing
they
my
were
age.
bricks.
Yeah, they were bricks or big things on like a coiled spring. So a lot of things that you have to do as a sales rep is you had to phone a lot, because it's quite easy now with LinkedIn and all the tools that you can plug into Sales Nav and everything else to find out lots of information on a persona, individual, company, and bring it all together. So you're really prepared for a call. Now, you couldn't do that sort of 20 years ago because you just had a phone and you had to make 10 or 20 phone calls before you got to your person that you wanted to speak to, and then you had to pitch. So I think having that tenacity to be able to be bold and go after a company with a phone call, that's one trait, but you can move that that skill set now to be a multitasking salesperson. So I think the ultimate salesperson for me would have a mobile phone, an iPad, a PC, and they'd have set automation going out in the background on their emails and LinkedIn and storytelling, etc., whilst being on the phone to a customer, whilst going out to customer meetings. But I think tenacity is one. I think you've got to be quite bold in what you're doing. I think passion, either passion happy, passion sad. It's just a passion that you need. Yeah. And I think all salespeople need to know how to do that. And I think empathy's, for me, I think that's just up there with everything else. You've got to have empathy with your clients and build that relationship.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
I think they're the three, Laura.
Yeah, and obviously moving forward, that may change. You know, as I've said, you're obviously growing in the UK at the moment, so you're looking for specific people for Sablono, and you're still currently hiring as well, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think when we look at sales team and structure, I think building that team up is basically a team of BDRs, hunting deals, team of AEs, farming deals, and that relationship build. And that's as sort of basic as you look at it. But in that team of BDRs, you might have different people looking after different personas. So you might have a infrastructure specialist or an housing specialist or a contractor specialist. Same with the AEs, and you can map a knowledge share so well if people are from the industry. It's good. I think coupled with that, it's good if you know people. If you've come from industry and you know project manager at X contractor and you know planner at Y contractor, it just helps. It just helps.
No, definitely. And obviously you'd said to begin with, the company are obviously a European company. So you obviously have a lot of different cultural differences between, I'm guessing, head office and the UK, as well as you said before, Dubai. You know, so how, I guess, how do you, I'm not going to say cope because that's not the right word, but how do you deal with the different cultures that obviously you come across on a daily basis within the business?
Yeah, it's fun, and I think part of sales is fun, and you've got to make it fun. And I think I try and distill that funness into the different teams. So internally at Sablono, it might be the customer success team, it might be the pre-sales team, it might be founders, it could be marketing, it could be HR, any part of the team member. You've got to make it fun with them. Now we've got 20-ish different nationalities in Sablono, so it's even much more fun because you've got to understand that culture code, and they've got to understand the UK culture code. So there's some quite big differences, but because you make it fun, nobody really cares about the formalities of it, and you've got to make it fun. And I think transparency, don't hide anything, and if you're fully transparent with staff or C-level people internally, it just makes for life being a lot more easier.
No, definitely. It sounds like it's going really well at Sablono at the moment. You know, as I'm aware, you know, you joined last year, and obviously they've started to really sort of make an imprint now with regards to the UK moving forward. Are there any plans to go anywhere else in the world? I guess if they're in 20 odd different countries already. You know, is there any more to sort of hit, or is it just now about expansion within those businesses within those countries?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't want to give too much away on business planning, but we've got a 3-year business plan. Well, actually, it's a 5-year business plan, but 3 years is our focus, and we want a 10x over the next 3 years. Now we're doubling down on the UK because that is where the construction industry is most buoyant, if I'm honest, in Europe. But there's not to say we can do that in Germany, DACH region, Spain, wherever in Europe. I think it's good to watch market trends and what have you. But I think we've got some big projects in the Middle East. We've got big projects in Australia, and it's just a matter of time of getting the UK right with the staff members and the team, and then just picking that up and replicating it in the other areas, and then learn as you go. But I think that planning will come into effect next year, and then we'll replicate that business model in the other countries. So yeah, hopefully we'll see a lot of Sablono over the next couple of years, and I'm looking forward to it, to be honest.
Fantastic. So I'm going to go into what I've called 60 seconds, but it is not going to take 60 seconds.
I'm not looking forward to this bit, Laura.
I bet you're not. But it won't take 60 seconds. That's the easiest part.
Okay.
So I will go for the first one. Who is your idol and why?
Okay. So long answer. It's easy to say people like Mandela and Bezos and Branson, and they're all great leaders. And you know, I read a lot, and you learn a lot from their sort of autobiographies and books that they've published. But I think one that stands out for me really well is Sir Alex Ferguson. Okay. And I think that is, I think the way he's worked in his career is very similar to leading high-performing sales teams. So when you look at all the superstars that he's had to manage in the different management styles he's had to do, I think it's just awesome, and it just links it straight back to high performers and people coming into the business, young recruits, all that sort of stuff. Different management styles you've got to have with different people. Yeah, so Alex Ferguson, I think.
Fantastic. How do you keep mentally focused? We can obviously see that you're currently in London with the high-rise buildings behind you. So obviously, whilst you're in London compared to when you're at home, there will obviously be two differences. Hopefully there's a difference between how you keep mentally focused, and you know, how do you do that in London compared to how you do that up in Yorkshire?
Yeah, so I think London's vibrant, different. It's a different culture as it is in Yorkshire. In Yorkshire, we've got lots of fields and lots of green areas. Yeah. But I think, look, one thing that we did yesterday is we did a field trip in London. Okay. So we mapped out some projects that we wanted to go see, and looked at find project managers, etc., and see where Sablono could help them, which was really good sort of bonding session for the team, and it allowed us to get together and look at the stuff that we're interested in as a software in construction. I think mentally focused in London, I need sleep. I'm getting older, Laura. I do need sleep. But I think at home, when I'm working from my home office in Yorkshire, I do a lot of reading and a lot of self-learning. And you know, I still mentor people from old roles that I've managed in. They'll ring me up and go, "What do you feel about this?" Blah blah blah. And I think that relaxation is quite good for me. I think when you grow up a little bit, when you're youngster, you're here, there, and everywhere and want to do everything. Yeah. And when you get older, I think you just sit back and go, actually, where do I need to focus? Where do I need to structure my time? And what do I need to actually do to achieve those goals? And I think having that structure and focus helps you balance that home and business life out.
Definitely, it definitely does. You've definitely talked about team building and how important it is, so I'll skip that one. So we'll just go for the quick ones. So iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Fantastic. I'm going to say car or motorbike. Somebody said the other day something else. Car or motorbike?
Before the pandemic, I'd have said cars, because I'm a massive petrol head. Yeah. But I haven't got a car at the moment. I don't need one.
Wow.
So I've gone in this whole sustainable thing and not been using public transport and everything else, because I don't actually need a car. I can get where I need to on trains and planes and everything else. So let's stay with car. Short answer.
Yeah.
Let's go. The funny answer is, I did look. I can't remember the name of it. There's an electric scooter that you can get, but I don't know if I can pull off the suit and a scooter.
Well, you're going to have to try it, aren't you? I'm sure in London somewhere you can actually just, like you can hire bikes in Manchester and Leeds. Yeah. I'm sure in London somewhere they've got electric scooters now that you can do that with as well. They were testing it out or something. So you'll have to go and get one of the staff to find you one. Yeah. Yeah. Test it out. So are you an early bird or a night owl? I'm guessing that might be dependent on where you are, if that's London or Yorkshire as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think depending on meetings, customers, really, I do my life by diary. And if a customer wants a meeting that's in Australia at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's what you've got to do. But I think in answer to your question, I will probably say I'm an early bird, but
yeah.
But
we all have that night owl in us, don't we? I think as salespeople, we've all got it. If you have to be there, you have to be there. So, so last question: if you could have breakfast with just one person, who would it be and why? And they can be dead or alive.
There's probably a few people I'd want to have breakfast with, Laura, but I think I'm going to go back to Alex Ferguson. So I've met him once, but not to sit down and have breakfast and really understand how he managed people like Eric Cantona and Ronaldo and Beckham and everybody else that he's managed at those high-profile people. I think I'm going to have to go Alex Ferguson again, Laura.
Fantastic. Fab. Well, that's the end of it. See, it was easy.
Yeah, cool.
So thank you for joining me today on the Construction Tech Podcast, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again in about 6 months' time, see where you're at, and see how you've managed to grow the business, but also how the business is done in the UK.
Yeah, good. Thanks for that, Laura.
Thank you.
Cheers.